Hi, it's Steph, and we're at the Home Depot. And a couple of weeks ago, we took a look at all of those summer blooming bulbs that had just come in. And today, they have also received all of these new Proven Winners bulb collections. So they have these, they have some spring bloomers outside, and I am just so excited. So let's go ahead and take a look at the February inventory at the Home Depot. These Proven Winner collections are new this year, so this is the first time I'm seeing these and I'm so excited about it. They come with quite a few bulbs, and these are all summer bloomers, and they have some that are going to be perennial and some that are going to be annuals. So this collection here is called the Peak Summer Blend, and it looks like it has lilies, gladiolas, and dahlias. So lilies for me here in my zone 6 are perennial, but the gladiolas sometimes are on the cusp, although I have had some that have come back year after year, and dahlias for me here in my zone would have to be lifted. But look at all of these beautiful colors. It looks like the collections are curated so that they have a specific color theme. So this one here is called the Sizzling Blend. And look how beautiful that is. The back of the box does tell you what variety is in it, and I will just go around and show you all of the collections that they have available. So this one here comes with 6 lilies, hybrid red desire, 2 calla lilies, Zentexia, and 20 gladiola, large flowering espresso. Espresso is that's a beautiful color of gladiola. And 2 dahlia semi-cactus red pygmy. And then it'll tell you the light exposure for each of the bulbs, the depth to plant them, the height that they get, their hardiness zone, etc. So a lot of great information on these boxes. And Proven Winners in general has really great quality plants. So I'm assuming that these are going to be just as wonderful. And these are $29.98. This one here is called the Celebrations Blend. Also has calla lilies, gladiolas, and dahlias. Let's see which varieties. Looks like this one also has calla lilies. So 2 calla lilies, orange pitcher, 6 lilies, Oriental Santander, 20 gladiola, large flowering trade horn, and 2 dahlia decorative cordessa. And again, it gives you all of this information. It's 4 curated varieties for a premium garden. Let's see what other kinds they have. So far we've looked at the Sizzling Blend, the Celebrations Blend. This one is called, let's see, Summer Party Blend. Look at that. Gorgeous. I have a lily that actually looks just like that, the pink with the orange. So let's see the variety here on this one. It looks like you get 24 gladiola, snowboard, 2 dahlia Kelvin Floodlight, which is that yellow dahlia there, the dahlia orange nugget, and 2 calla lilies Novi Sun. It's a really pretty blend. Now this is a beauty. Look at this one, Sunset Blend, with these maroon purple colors with the orange. That makes such a beautiful combination. This is even wonderful just to grace some inspiration. If you're looking for specific color themes to grow in your garden for arranging flowers or for cut flower bouquets this summer, these will give you a good starting off point. So this one here you get, let's see, gladiola 26 bulbs. You get 2 orange pom-pom natal prints and 2 calla lilies Le Rev. Gorgeous. Now calla lilies, depending on your zone and whether or not you have them planted in a microclimate, so somewhere against your foundation or a south-facing wall, they can become perennial and come back year after year. But in general, in my zone 6, they're supposed to be lifted and saved, the bulbs or corms, to be planted out again once the weather gets warmer. But it really is dependent on your gardening zone. This one here is called Blushing Blend. It looks like a pink blend. And there's a couple more down below. This here is Festival Blend. So it looks like some dark calla lilies and some red gladiola with some other white lilies. So these are Oriental lilies, and these are the calla lilies. And this variety here, nice bright summer colors, is called the Fire Blend. And it looks like you get a little yellow dainty dahlia, some orange gladiola, the purple pink calla lily. Really pretty. So all of these are $29.98. They also have some Vigoro bulbs this week, which they didn't have the last time we were here, and some really beautiful collections. So these boxes here are $9.98, and it looks like you get 20 mixed bulbs. Nice bright colors. And these are closed up, so it's a little bit harder to inspect the bulbs. You could probably go by weight, see which ones feel like they have some good weight to them, which would mean they would be more plump and less likely to be dehydrated. Another really beautiful foliage plant for the summer, these like shade caladiums. I actually grew some last year, some of this white variety here, and they're actually really stunning. So there are no flowers, but just the foliage makes such a large impact. So if you have a shady garden and you wanted to tuck these in there, you get 3 of these caladiums, fancy leaf mixed bulbs for $9.98. And Vigoro also has some curated dahlia collections. So these are collections with 2 varieties of dahlias that coordinate really beautifully together. So if you are just getting into some cut flowers and you want to grow some that you know will give you beautiful bouquets, this is a great option. So the Vigoro here, again, $9.98, and in this case you get 2 dahlias, which I think is actually great because some of the larger containers or the larger packages, such as those that we looked at last time, sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get 3 tubers, and you might not necessarily want to grow that many, especially if you're limited on space. So the fact that you get only 2 and they're each a different variety is actually really great, so that you can grow more varieties and have the room for them if you have a smaller garden space. So this one here, you get Lady Darlene and Babylon Red Tuber. Really beautiful. And the back of the package does give you instructions here. Let's see. It will tell you when to plant these. So, and the depth and so forth. Now, dahlias here in my zone 6 can't be planted out until all danger of frost has passed. So for me, I typically plant them out around Mother's Day weekend or beginning to mid-May. So you'd want to know when that is for you. Some people also like to start them ahead of time in some pots and put them by a sunny window so that they can start growing some green leaves and some growth, and then plant them out in the garden once chance of frost has passed. So this one here, you get 1 bluebird and 1 Kelvin floodlight, and that looks really beautiful together. Purple and yellow are opposite on the color wheel, so they're really complementary. Let's see what other collections they have. So this one here is called Marrow Star and Snow Country. Looks like a really beautiful fuchsia purple with white. And they have some other varieties around the corner. Let's go take a look. 1 Blue Boy and 1 Crazy Love. Really gorgeous pastel shades of purple. $9.98 for 2. And again, when you're picking these up, go by the weight, because I picked up a few and this one feels nice and heavy, which means that the tubers are probably nice and plump. So I would go by weight on these. Oh, this one is stunning. Look at this. 1 Terza and 1 Gideon tuber. A gorgeous maroon, and then this peachy orange apricot color with that maroon center. Look at that picture. Absolutely beautiful. Another really beautiful combination, this orangey peach color here with a purple, like a lavender. This one is called Lilac Thyme and Prince of Orange tuber. Look at that picture. My goodness, am I getting excited for dahlia season. Now these are late summer, early fall bloomers. So if you plant them out in May or in late spring, they will bloom for you late summer, early fall. So it's great because you'll have all of your other flowers blooming in the summer, and these will kick in just as everything else starts getting tired. So this one here, another beautiful combination. And I've actually grown cream de cassis before. It's a stunning variety. It's this one right here. It has a light pink in the front and a really dark back of the petal. So it's two-toned and really gorgeous. So you get 1 cream de cassis and 1 Thomas Edison. I grew Thomas Edison for the first time last year. It's a beautiful purple dahlia and very prolific. You get tons and tons of blooms. So 2 tubers, 1 of each for $9.98. And some lilies. So they have, how many do you get in here? You get 6 Oriental lilies. This is a mixed bulb variety pack here for $9.98. I have several varieties of lilies in my garden. Stargazers, they're absolutely gorgeous. And don't forget, the back does give you information about how deep to plant them, when to plant them, and so forth. So typically when your soil is workable, so in the spring when the soil starts getting workable, you can go ahead and plant many of these bulbs. These lilies can certainly be planted out in earlier spring. Lilies can be planted out in earlier spring. Things like caladiums and dahlias definitely need the heat in order to be planted out, because if you start getting any of this growth on a couple of warm days, the cold weather will zap them. So these are warm weather. But lilies, Oriental lilies, gladiolas even, you can probably plant out sooner. Let's take a look at the back of the gladiola package and it will tell us when they can be planted. So here it says that you can plant out these corms or these gladiola bulbs from February through June. Look what I just came across here at my Home Depot. They have some grow lights. So I recently did a video about starting my seeds and growing some indoor, and I did set up some grow lights. I purchased mine online, but if you are looking for some and you don't want to look online, Home Depot does have a collection of grow lights. Spring is upon us, friends. It's almost time to be out in our gardens again. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they've got out here. When I pulled in and I saw this bright pop of pink, it pulled me right in. This is a beautiful heather, and this one is called Kramer's Red. And this is a gorgeous plant to have in the garden for some late winter, early spring color. Absolutely beautiful. So this is actually a plant that is deer resistant, which is wonderful if you are in an area that you deal with deer. I definitely do. It gets to be 24 to 36 inches in height. It likes full sun. It provides winter interest. And it gets to be 24 to 36 inches in height and in width, hardy down to -10 degrees Fahrenheit. So this, along with your Pyrus japonica, are really nice late winter, early spring blooming shrubs that will give you a lot of interest out in the garden when everything else is still a bit dormant. So real pretty one. These here are, let's see, $14.98. Some California privet. Now these are used for hedging, privacy shrubs. They do bloom. They have a small white bloom there. These like part sun. It says that they attract butterflies and are drought tolerant. The height on them gets to be 10 to 12 feet in height, and they need 2 to 12 feet in spacing, hardy down to -10 degrees Fahrenheit, and they bloom midsummer. So let's see how much these are here. It looks like the ligustrum is $29.98, and these appear to be a 2-gallon container. And I'm happy to find that they have a beautiful variety of lilac. This is the lilac mange. It's a really showy lilac. The panicles of the flowers or the blooms are 9 inches long on average, which is amazing. And they have this really deep, beautiful purple. Lilacs are deer resistant, partly because they're very fragrant, and deer do not like plants that are very fragrant. Similar to like Nepeta and Salvia, it's off-putting to them, which is wonderful because they'll leave them alone in our gardens. This lilac mange gets to be 8 to 10 feet in height. It likes full sun. It's drought tolerant, and most plants that say they are drought tolerant, that is once they are established. So after they've been in your garden for a while and they've gotten regular watering and they've then established their root system, at that point they will become more drought tolerant. And it blooms early to late spring. It needs 8 feet spacing, and it is hardy down to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. It says they are water weekly, more often until roots are established. Really beautiful. And these here are, let's see, this is a number 3 container for $29.98. Rhododendrons, another really beautiful broadleaf evergreen that gets really large bloom clusters in spring. So let me bring one of these down for us to take a look. Look how nice and full this rhododendron is. Really nice, full, healthy looking shrub. Rhododendron foliage is evergreen. It stays this nice shiny green all season long, and then it starts to bud up. In late fall, the buds will start to grow, and then they start to swell the closer they get to blooming time. Now, while rhododendron foliage is pretty deer resistant, I do find that sometimes the deer will come through and eat my buds as they get closer to blooming. So I do spray my shrub to protect it, but a really nice evergreen shrub. So let's see. This one here is called the Rhododendron Minnetonka. It is a part sun shrub. These are understory shrubs, so they like to be planted under the canopy of trees so that they get a part shade situation. That is where they do best. These get to be 4 to 6 feet tall and 4 to 6 feet wide. But with maturity, they do get much larger. And they bloom mid to late spring, hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. And these here are a number 3 container for $44.98. Some yew, another really pretty evergreen. It is upright and has a really nice texture. The only thing with these is that there are certain varieties. The plum yew is more deer resistant, but this variety, the Taxus media yew disformis, is not as deer resistant. So you could find that they do get a little bit of deer browsing on them in your garden. So I would say that if you deal with deer, you might want to look for the plum yews, but they are a really pretty upright textural type evergreen. They like part sun. And let's see how big they get. It looks like they get 36 to 48 inches in height, and they need 6 to 8 feet spacing, and they're hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. This container is a number 3 for $29.98. And one of my favorite yellow evergreens that are easily found at the box store is the false cypress. This one is called King's Gold. Now these really like full sun. If you have them in a more shade situation, you will start getting more green, similar to what you see on the underside of the leaves. So the parts that get more sun are more golden, and they provide such a beautiful contrast against all the other evergreens in the garden. So if you have a collection of evergreens, if you have something blue and something yellow and something green, it really provides a lot of visual interest. So full sun shrub, deer resistant, I can vouch for that. I have a couple in my garden. The deer do not touch them. They get to be 36 to 48 inches in height, and they need a 6-foot spacing, hardy down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And these containers here are a little bit smaller, so they are $16.98. They appear to be just about a gallon. And forsythia, one of the first shrubs that you're going to see blooming in the spring. The first thing that I notice usually is the witch hazels, followed by the forsythia. They bloom usually right around the time that you start seeing the daffodils come through the soil, and they have these really pretty yellow blooms. These can get quite large, so you want to give them some space. They are a full sun shrub that are deer resistant. It looks like they get about 10 feet in height, and they need about 10-foot spacing. They bloom early to mid-spring, and they're hardy down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And these here are, let's see, a number 3 container for $29.98. And blueberries. And while you don't necessarily think of blueberries as an ornamental shrub, you can certainly plant some edible shrubs like blueberries among all of your other beautiful flowering and ornamental shrubs, because these actually will bloom before they start to set berries, so that you'll get these little pretty white flowers that are really dainty, and they also have fall color with these beautiful red leaves. Look at that. So anytime that the temperature starts to get cooler, they will start getting red foliage. Now these are pretty far along. Some of the blueberries, or some of the raspberries rather, still look like a bunch of sticks, but these are wonderful to plant in your landscape. They show a blueberry muffin there. Now I will be honest, it does take quite a while for these to start producing good amounts of blueberries, probably upwards of 3 years. But if you are just starting a garden and you want to enjoy some blueberries down the road, this would be a great time to plant some in the spring. And these here, let's see how much they are. I don't see a price on the blueberries. My guess is that they're probably somewhere, oh, actually, I just found one. $12.98. And these are 1.25 quarts. And if you're looking to put up a living fence or a privacy hedge this spring, all of their evergreens, large evergreens for screening and fencing, have started to come in. So they have a number 7 Tuja. These are the emerald green arborvitaes for $59.98. Quite a few of them. They also have some of the dwarf Alberta spruce, and those are also number 7, and they are $99. And then in number 7 containers down the end, they have the green giant arborvitae for $69.98. Now, if you deal with deer and you want to put up a privacy fence, I would say my pick is the green giant arborvitae. They grow really fast, really large, and the deer stay away from them. My neighbor has a living fence with the green giant arborvitaes that they planted maybe about 5 or 6 years ago now, and they are almost touching and closing and have made a beautiful fence. But these here, the emerald green, a lot of people will plant these because they are a bit more narrow and their texture is a bit finer, where the emerald green is a bit looser. But these here do get a lot of deer browsing. You will see the deer eat these up to the point where they can eat, and then you'll have just green on top and it'll be bare at the bottom, which will very quickly kill your tree. So if you're going to make that kind of investment, I would definitely do some research about what type of emerald green or the green giant, which type of arborvitae you want to plant. These like full sun, and arborvitaes in general like water. So make sure that you water these well when you first plant them to get them going and growing. And the emerald green here stays, it needs 24 to 36 inch spacing, so they're pretty compact. They will get tall, I want to say upwards of about 15 feet, but they don't get very wide. And they're hardy down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The dwarf Alberta spruce is an evergreen that stays pretty compact. It gets chubbier at the bottom and a little bit narrower on top. They are deer resistant. They say they're low maintenance. They don't require any pruning to keep their shape. They need about 36 inch spacing, and they're hardy down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I've seen these get anywhere from 6 to 8 feet tall and maybe about 4 to 5 feet wide. So they don't get overly big. Nice compact tree. The only downside with these is that sometimes they get spider mites. So if you start seeing brown spots in them, something to look into. And here is the green giant arborvitae. See how it has more of a looser fern-like texture? but these are really great trees. I really love the green giants. So these here, just as the name suggests, get pretty giant at 20 to 30 feet in height. They like full sun, and they need 20 to 30 feet spacing. So if you are going to plant a living fence, you want to probably plant them, about 5 feet on center or so, but there's a lot of information online that you can look into to see how far you should space them center to center so that they grow in. Of course, the smaller the tree, the longer they'll take to grow in, and the larger the tree, the faster you'll get a fence. And some more edibles, some fruit trees. So if you want to plant some fruit trees this spring, they have quite a collection here. Let's take a look at a few. Plum tree, and this one is called European Italian. It likes full sun, and it gets to be 14 to 30 feet in height, and it matures summer through fall. Needs 15-foot spacing, hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, some trees you do need a pollinator, like with apples. There could be some varieties, newer varieties that might be self-pollinating, but in general, with like things like apple trees and even pear trees, you need more than one tree in order for them to pollinate each other and to set fruit. This one here says it's an apple combo. It likes full sun, and it will mature summer through fall, gets to be 15 to 20 feet in size, and it is hardy down to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Then the tag here says arc black, so it could just be the type of combo that they have grafted on this tree. Now let's see how much these fruit trees are. So the plum here is a number 7 for $69.98. And this combo apple that we looked at is also a number 7 for $89.98. Some peach trees. Now peach are self-pollinating, so from what I understand, you need one peach tree and you will still get fruit. These fruit trees also have beautiful blooms before they begin to set their fruit, so they do still provide some interest in the garden. So another way to incorporate some trees that will look beautiful, but that will also offer you something to eat. So this peach redskin likes full sun, and it matures in summer. It needs 15 to 20 feet spacing, and it is hardy down to -30 degrees Fahrenheit. And the peach, a number 7 container, is $69.98. Some pear trees, and this one here is called Pear European Bartlett. It likes full sun. It looks like it gets 14 to 30 feet in height, so quite large. And it needs 15-foot spacing, hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, there is some pruning techniques that people use with fruit trees where they prune them just as high as they can reach them, almost, bringing the canopy down, which will make it so that not only does your tree branch out more, potentially giving you more fruit, but also you don't have to get the trees so tall that it will make it difficult to reach them for pruning and so forth. So something to think about. Also have a pear variety called Kiefer, and this one gets to be 15 to 30 feet in height as well. And all these fruit trees like full sun. They mature in fall, and they need 12 to 20 feet in spacing, hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. The pear tree is a number 7 container for $69.98. Some more apple varieties. They have the apple Arkansas Black. They have apple Ambrosia. Let's see, this one here is apple Gala. Yellow Delicious, one of my favorites. What else do they have here? Granny Smith, nice sour apple, great for apple pies. And let's see, more Yellow Delicious. Some Dwarf Macintosh. So dwarf varieties typically indicate that the shrub or tree will be a little bit smaller. So let's see, this one here, yep, and this one here is a little bit smaller. So it gets to be 8 to 10 feet in height. And it says that it needs 6 to 8 feet spacing. Matures in fall, hardy down to -30 degrees Fahrenheit. And for red apples, this one's my favorite, the Pink Lady. I've been buying these at Aldi a lot lately. And this one here also likes full sun, and it gets to be 8 to 10 feet in height and 5 to 8 foot spacing, hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. I just wanted to go through quickly and tell you all of the varieties that I see for apples, because there's quite a few. And you can see that these came over from a warmer climate. The trees got zapped with a little bit of cold and they've kind of crisped up, but they're going to be fine. They still have nice big buds on them. So while the foliage died back, these trees are still very much viable and will put out some fruit. Now, this is the bonus of buying trees that are this size. In contrast to, say, like a bare root tree. A couple of years ago, I did buy a couple of bare root trees, and those take a really long time to get going. So while these cost a little bit more, you're getting a more mature tree, which means that you'll get fruit a lot sooner than you would from bare root. They have some cherry trees, so cherry combo. This one here, full sun, and they mature mid-spring, or they bloom mid-spring, and they need 12-foot spacing, hardy down to -20 degrees. Let's see how much the cherry trees are. The cherries are a 7 container, number 7, for $69.98. They have tart cherry early Richmond, and 10 to 15 feet in height, matures in summer, 15-foot spacing, -20 degrees Fahrenheit. They also have a variety called Stella and cherry 4-in-1. And this one says sweet cherry black tartran. So quite a few varieties. I also see one that reads sweet cherry bing. So lots of cherry varieties. So they have a lot of variety in terms of apple trees, and they also have lots of variety in terms of cherry trees. And this one also is about a 15-foot spacing, hardy down to -30 degrees. And here's yet one more variety of cherry, and this one here is called Coral Champagne. This one gets quite large at 30 to 40 feet in height and needs 30-foot spacing, hardy down to -10 degrees Fahrenheit, so pretty hardy as well. And this one is a dwarf sweet cherry Lambert. So this one gets to be 18 to 25 feet in height, and it needs 25-foot spacing, hardy down to -20 degrees. Blooms in summer. I planted a Yoshino cherry tree, and it's flowering and really beautiful, but it doesn't give me fruit. So if these flower and give you fruit, it's a bonus. We saw our golden delicious, but they also have the red delicious. And this one's 14 to 30 feet in height and 15-foot spacing, hardy to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. They also have some ornamental trees, some pussy willow trees. Look at this, the weeping willow. Really pretty shape. And a lot of people cut these branches and put them in a vase to force inside, which means you'll let them bloom inside. And these bloom, these little fuzzy things that look like a bunny foot will open up, and you'll get these little catkins, which are their blooms. They sometimes are yellow, sometimes pink, but really pretty. These make pretty forced branches indoors for spring. And let's see how much these are. They have a weeping shape, like a fountain. Here's the information on the weeping pussy willow pendula. Has green foliage. They get to be 5 to 6 feet in height, and because they have this weeping shape, they stay a bit more compact. And they need 8-foot spacing. They bloom early to late spring, hardy to -30 degrees Fahrenheit. And they are in a number 10 container for $110. They also have some apricot and nectarines. So let's see which varieties they have here. So it looks like the nectarine, the varieties I see are red gold. They have only red gold from what I can see, and then they also have some apricots. So we'll take a look. So the red gold nectarines get to be 12 to 14 feet in height. They are full sun trees, and they need 15 to 20 foot spacing, mature in summer, and hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. So both the apricots and the nectarines are in number 7 containers for $69.98. And the apricot doesn't read a variety, it just reads apricot for full sun, 14 to 30 feet in height, and they need 15 feet spacing. The maturity varies, and the hardiness is down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're looking to start a privacy hedge or fence with a smaller arborvitae tree, they have both the emerald green and the green giant in smaller containers. So let's see how much these are. The number 3 size green giant is $34.98, and the number 3 emerald green arborvitae, or the Smaragd variety, is $29.98. Well, that brings us to the end of the February inventory here at the Home Depot. I'm really excited to see that they've already started to get inventory, and in no time we will be coming back, and this nursery will be full of beautiful flowers for us to look at together. So thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos, and we'll see you soon.